Najat ka talib, Ghalib. Najat ka talib, Ghalib. This is the usual way in which he closed his casual and intimate letters. His letters, which are unquestionably a masterpiece of Urdu prose. I've always been intrigued by the intense feelings, wistfulness, and a strong romantic mood of his poetry. But truthfully speaking, if I had not read his letters, his poetic genius would have stayed unaffected, but I would not have gained an insight to, and in turn absolutely love his personality. His lively, witty, sociable, generous, and liberal-minded personality. It is not easy to appreciate and comprehend his poetic ingenuity, and to make things worse, he is selective with his audience and opens up only to a selected few. He himself declares, साथ बिक जाते हैं हम आप मताए सुखन के, साथ बिक जाते हैं हम आप मताए सुखन के, लेकिन अयारे तबाए खरीदार देख कर. Ayar here means a measure. Unfortunately, my measure is shallow and not much can be contained in it from the said treasure. My measure just contains an old copy of Diwan-e Ghalib, which I have possessed since ages and have made repeated gainless attempts to get to the crux of his clever word play. And now this Diwan is becoming Diwan-e-Bashiraza, and its papers are tearing apart, and it is losing its binding. This is the beginning of the end. I had hoped to fathom the depths, but I find myself just floating at the surface, and the papers are gone awry. I would be indebted for life to someone who salvages the book and gives me some hope of salvation too. For me, the most striking qualities of his work are his unbeatable wit and rueful humor, which are strikingly prominent in his letters too. Each letter bears witness to his legendary magic with words and soaks the dryness of even the most drab of subjects. He writes to a friend about how he wrote an ode, a qasida, and read it for 4 mamdoods, the praised, from time to time, saying in his defense that God did the same. I recall that there was this Chalia qasida written in the praise of betel nut during his visit to Calcutta in 1826. When the Nawab held the sapari in his palm and asked Ghalib to write something about it, Ghalib wrote it there and then, and I wonder if he later read the qasida for other nuts like almond and walnut too, with minor changes of course, and with the same divine justification. Today, as I came across some of his verses which bore a religious and Quranic reference, I thought about finding more of such examples from his work. Definitely not a good idea, as Darwin said in Latin, Nullam est aem dictum quod non dictum sit prius. And if you are not very well versed with this language, it means nothing is said that hasn't been said before. And as in school days, we used to start every essay with a line, rivers of eloquence have flown on this subject, but still I would dare to add a few more drops. So like it or not, I'm adding some drops. It is paradoxical to find religious references in the works of Ghalib, an inebriate, and a wino who writes in his stupor, आते हैं गैब से ये मज़ामीन ख़याल में, गालिब सरीर खामा नवाए सरोश है. Ali, his devoted student and friend, reveals that his manner of composition was that at night, in a state of intoxication, he used to think, and when some verse was conceived, he tied a knot in his belt, and then he would go to sleep. The next day, through memory alone, he would recall the verses and put them on paper. Bear with me and also please stay with me as we glance at some religious references he uses so beautifully. He talks of Rizwan, the pleased one who guards the door of paradise against trespassers and gatecrashers. बाद यक उमर वरा बार तो देता बारे काश रिजवान ही दरे यार का दरबां होता. Rizwan is bound to be more compassionate and subtle than the guard to the Mehboob's house, and the Ashiq's self-created paradise is more desirable than the official one. And yet again, क्या ही रिजवान से लड़ाई होगी घर तेरा खुल्द में कर याद आया. He is confident that he will enter paradise, and a conflict with Rizwan is also inevitable. Let's look at some snide remarks about paradise. तात मिटा रहे न मैं वंग बीं की लाग दोज़ख में डाल दो कोई लेकर बहिश्त को. Yes, if streams of honey and heavenly wine are coveting people to strive for it, where is pure worship of and love of God? Here he has a very valid point. Don't we all agree? He even has a smart idea to open up possibilities of both licit and illicit satisfaction. क्यों ना फिरदौस को दोज़ख में मिला लें या रब. क्यों ना फिरदौस को दोज़ख में मिला लें या रब. सैर के वास्ते थोड़ी सी फ़ज़ा और सही. And wine is and remains above and beyond all the blessings of paradise. वो चीज़ जिसके लिए हमको है बहिश्त अज़ीज़ सवाए बादाए गुलफाम मुश्कबू क्या है. And now let's look at this complaint.